What's going on, guys? My name is Joey Speaks, and this is Everyday People, the podcast, the mini pod. All right, guys, so we're going to just jump right in like we always do on the mini pod. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a quick review of just fitness in general, okay? The 3 pieces to fitness. So the 3 pieces to fitness are diet is on top, cardio or muscle or lifting weights is down here, and cardio or lifting weights is down here. So it's always diet, cardio, weights, or diet, weights, cardio, depending on what your goal is. If you do not incorporate all 3 pieces of this, of the way that fitness works, you will get some results. You will not get the results that you're looking for. It is a commitment. It has to be your lifestyle, guys. I'm telling you. And I've been doing these mini pods now. I think this is going to be the 8th one that I'm doing, along with just the regular podcast itself. And we're talking about fitness, and we're talking about people's lives, and we're talking about you, we're talking about me, we're talking about just a little bit of everything. But man, I'm telling you guys, I'm literally giving you guys the game. I am giving you guys the game. Listen to what I'm telling you. Like I told you before, I don't think that you should listen to every single thing I say and make everything that I say law or anybody else. You should take what I say, apply it to yourself. Some of the things that I say will totally apply to you. Some of the things that I say may not apply to you. The facts apply to everybody, but the way that you go about things will apply to you specifically. So like I told you guys before, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to walk you along the path for you to be able to get bigger, stronger, healthier. And bigger does not always mean big and buff. It just means like a bigger, stronger version of yourself. Bigger muscles are better for your body. Okay? Bigger muscles are better for your body. Bigger for you may not mean the same thing as bigger for me. Everything is relative. Okay? So ladies, if I say bigger muscles to you, I do not mean you're going to get all big and buff. I mean bigger muscles for you to help your body. Guys, some of you guys don't want to get big and buff. Some guys, you just want to just get toned and sleek and just like beach body ready. That's still a version of bigger, better muscles. So muscle is such a big deal. So I'm going to go down the 3 keys, and I'm going to give you just kind of like the overview, the Cliff Notes version of what we've been talking about, how you can apply it to yourself. And man, like I'm telling you, if you keep this stuff simplified, if you keep this stuff simple, it will work. Before I get into that, I want to tell you a quick little story about my dog, the Rock. So Rocky, we got Rocky. He's about 6 years old, and we got him 6 years ago. And so before we moved into the house that we live in now, we used to live in an apartment. And so my wife would walk him in the morning, my kids would walk him in the afternoon, and then I would walk him at night when I got home from the gym. And I'm telling you about Rocky and his walks because, so if you have a dog, and Rocky's actually the first dog I've ever had, and he's the best. That's the Rock. What I learned from him is that, so we give him the same food all the time. He eats the same stuff all the time. Now, we give him human food sometimes too. We don't go crazy with it, but we give him human food. But his diet is his dog food. And you know what he is? He's regular. This guy takes a dump when he goes out. I mean, like every time that I would walk him at night, we would walk a certain distance. He'd get to his spot. He'd sniff around. He'd walk around. He'd do his little circle thing and, do his little dance. And then he'd cop a squat and just go. But the interesting thing about that is that, so he doesn't really have a choice of what he's going to eat. He eats what we give him, right? So his diet is mainly his dog food, and we give him treats, and we give him human food, like I said, a little bit, but the majority of his food is dog food. So his system, it literally runs like clockwork. Now, I know that a lot of people have digestive system issues, and everyone is different, so you could do the same thing as I could do, and it may work way better for you than it does for me because my body has this, that, whatever, and vice versa. So I'm not saying that if you are perfectly keep it in tune with your diet, you're going to have a great digestive system. What I am saying is you're going to give yourself a better chance to have a better digestive system. Okay. So when I started walking him at night, I mean, it was like clockwork. And, so I would like put my headphones on and I would be listening to comedians. I'd listen to my comedy stuff. And so, but maybe a couple weeks in, I just started to notice like he was stopping in the same place, doing like it was a ritual almost. He was doing the same thing. And so like every single time I took him out at this spot, this is where he dropped it. This is where I picked it up. This is where I put it in the bag. And then there was always a trash can on the way, on the way back. I would just drop his crap right in the bag or in the trash can, and it was done. So, but I tell you about Rocky to tell you, man, like it's a system. He's very regimented. He doesn't have a choice about it, but he's very regimented, and he eats what we give him, and what we give him is good for his body. So if we take that into account for ourselves, that does not mean we're going to eat the same thing every day. It does not mean that we're going to be doing the same thing every day like a dog is who is given food. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just get consistent. Just get consistent with what you know works for you and go from there, right? That does not mean that you cannot have snacks and you can't have treats and you can't have dessert. And it does not mean that. It just means that like, just get on it. Get on it. There's nothing that you're ever going to do that's just going to be 100% that way. Even if you go to the doctor's not going to say you should just eat these 3 things, these 5 things for the rest of your life. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say eat that the majority of the time and enjoy yourself the rest of the time. Okay. All right. So that was my little story about The Rock, and this is going to take me right into the diet. Okay. So I'm just going to go over the main things about our diets that I've told you before that I'm going to make sure that I highlight right now, and just kind of give you a quick overview of what you should be thinking about and how you can apply it to yourself. Okay. So for our diet, you need to know what calories are and how they affect you. A calorie is just a unit of energy. Okay. So the number of calories gives you X amount of energy. Just think of it that simple. What makes up a calorie are the macronutrients. The macronutrients are proteins, carbs, and fats. Let me break it down for you real quick. Okay. I'm going to go in this order because I'm going to go in this specific order because one of these macros are not essential to life. The other 2 are. So protein. For every gram of protein, there are 4 calories. So if you have a 25 gram chicken breast, 25 times 4 is 100. That's 100 calories. 25 grams of protein, 100 calories. 1 chicken breast. Okay. Let's bank that real quick. So that is our protein, 4 calories per gram. Okay. Next, and protein is essential to life. If you do not eat protein, things will end bad for you. The next essential macro is fats, good or bad fats. Here's the thing about fats. For every gram of fats, there are 9 calories. It's more than double protein. Okay. And I'm going to get to carbs in a minute, but it's more than double protein. So you do not want to be having a 1-to-1 portion of protein to fats, because you will be more than doubling your calories unless you're on a specific diet that's going to dictate that. That's a whole other conversation that we're not going to have today. But when you're eating fats, you got to make sure that you know your calories because they weigh much more. I'm sorry, you got to know your macros because they weigh much more in calories. Okay. So when you are thinking about a diet, you want to try to do a 1-to-1 ratio of your protein to your body weight. Okay. So if you're trying to gain muscle or build muscle, you want to try to have about a 1-to-1 ratio of protein grams to your body weight. So I weigh 210 pounds. Generally speaking, I should keep my protein intake at about 200 grams. And so you can go anywhere from 0.75 grams up to about 1 gram. Okay. Now, if you're trying to do something extra, you would even go more than 1 gram per pound of body weight. Okay. So for argument's sake, I weigh 210. Let's just call it 200. So I want to try to take in about 200 grams of protein and probably on the low end, about 170 grams of protein. Okay. That's going to help me build muscle. It's going to help me keep the muscle that I have. It's going to help me get strong. All right. 1-to-1 ratio protein. Next, is your fats. You want to have about 20 to 30% of your overall calories coming from good fats. So I like to just meet in the middle and say 25% of your calories should be coming from good fats. Remember, fats are 9 calories per gram, not 4. Okay. And that's going to make a big difference in your ratio. Okay. Now, like I said, if you're doing a high fat diet, a keto diet, which we're not going to talk about, that's something different. But if you're not doing a keto diet or a high fat diet, you want to make sure that you keep those fat grams in check. Okay. Protein and fat, they are essential to your body. They are essential to your life. If you do not consume them, things will end bad for you. Okay. Now let's get to the elephant in the room, carbs. Carbs have 4 calories per gram, just like protein. Okay. Carbs have 4 calories per gram, just like protein. They are not essential to life. Now, if you have some type of medical condition where carbs are essential for you, different conversation that we're not going to have today. But so if that is you, I am not talking to you right now. I'm talking to people who are not carb reliant or whatever the case is when it comes to, diabetes, pre-diabetes, all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about those people. Okay. I'm talking about people who are not having those conditions. Every gram of carbs has 4 calories. So they are not essential, meaning that if you never ate another carb in your life, you would probably be pissed because carbs are delish. But you would be totally fine. You would go through what's called the carb flu, meaning that it's a saying. When you don't eat carbs, you kind of start to feel sick and you start to feel like you're kind of weaning yourself off of them and your body is adjusting, right? But if you never ate another carb, you'd be totally fine. Now, for weightlifting and, keeping your body totally in tune with what it's supposed to be, I think that we need all 3 macronutrients. So I am not a proponent of, just proteins and fats. I think that we need all 3 macros. Proteins and fats are essential. Carbs are not, but carbs really are a great macronutrient for our bodies to be able to take advantage of. Okay. So that is calories and macros. Okay. Every gram of protein has 4 calories. Every gram of carbs has 4 calories. Every gram of fats has 9 calories. Okay. When you do the equation, you literally can create a meal plan based on your body for you. Okay. Try to have about a 1-to-1 ratio of protein to pounds of body weight, and depending on how much you weigh, if you're severely overweight, obviously you don't want to have a 1-to-1. But that's why you need a trainer. That's why you need someone who's a professional who can tell you where you should go, where you should start. I'm just generally speaking here, okay? So don't take this as law. It should be for everybody. Everybody's situation is different. Okay. 25% of your overall calories should come from good fats. Okay, and then you fill in the rest with carbs. All right, that is our diet in a nutshell. Remember, if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to know your calories so you know what your calorie maintenance number is. My calorie maintenance number is about 2,000 calories per day. If I weigh 210, I eat 2,000 calories a day, I will typically remain about 210 pounds. That is my calorie maintenance. If I want to lose weight, I go into a deficit. So now my 2,000 calories turns to 1,700 calories. Maybe 1,650 on a low day, 1,750. 1,700 is probably my safe spot for me to be able to be losing weight, keeping my muscle because I keep my protein high, and not feeling like I'm starving. Okay, so that is a calorie deficit for people who want to lose weight. For people who want to gain weight or gain size or gain strength, you need to be in a calorie surplus. So if you were me and you weigh 210 pounds and 2,000 calories is your maintenance number. So now I want to add about 3, maybe 400 calories per day. So now I'm at 2,300 calories per day, 2,400 calories per day, where I may be gaining a little bit of fat, possibly if I don't do it correctly. But if I do it properly, I can gain muscle and I can really minimize fat gain. Okay, that's a whole nother story. And like I said, that's why you need a personal trainer, because they can guide you on along those steps. Okay, so deficit, go below your calorie maintenance. Surplus, go above your calorie maintenance. 2, 3, maybe 400 calories either way, depending on what your goal is, where you're starting at, what your starting weight is. Okay. That is our diet at the top of the pyramid in a nutshell. Okay. And so I ask you guys, please, if you have questions about any specifics about macros, what does protein do for me? What does carbs do? I know I've told you guys before, but if you have any specific questions that pertain specifically to you, let me know. I'll make a video. Okay, next. Cardio. Okay, so cardio is it is 100% necessary for us to get into the shape that we want to get into. Abusing cardio can hurt you. Not doing enough cardio can fool you. Okay? So let's talk about abusing cardio. When you do too much cardio, you not only burn fat, but you start to burn lean muscle mass. And that is what we do not want. So let me give you the 2 zones that I want to talk to you about when it comes to doing cardio. So there are 5 zones. Okay. I'm only going to talk about 2. But there are 5. Okay. So there's your warm up at the bottom. Your warm up at the bottom, your cool down at the top. The second zone is what's called your fat burning zone. Okay. And that's where you want to be going about 60 to 70% of your max. Okay. 60 to 70% of what your max is. Now, the fat burning zone is typically a brisk walk. So like you might see people, walking around the block, going to the high school, walking, speed walking, I don't know, 4, 8, 12, 16 laps, 1, 2, 3, 4 miles. Every 4 laps at a track at a high school is a mile. Okay. The fat burning zone is where we should all be if we want to lose weight. Okay. We should all do fat burning cardio. There's other kinds of cardio I think you should do if you have other goals as well, but getting a nice little walk in and you're in your fat burning zone. And typically your fat burning zone is going to be anywhere from about your heart rate being about 115 to 120 at the low and about 130 to 135 at the high. You will be in your fat burning zone. And what happens is your body actually uses fat for fuel while you are in the fat burning zone. That's why it's called the fat burning zone. Okay. If you want to, and it takes longer. It takes a longer period of time. You can lose weight faster by doing higher intensity cardio, but you'll be sacrificing some muscle mass. We'll get to that in a minute. So fat burning is anywhere when your heart rate's anywhere between about 115 beats a minute to 120 beats a minute on the low, about 130 to 135 on the high. Okay. That's the fat burning zone. It is a great zone to be in because it's low intensity. Pretty much anyone can do it, whether you're walking, whether you're doing the elliptical, whether you're riding a bike, doesn't matter. You can find your fat burning zone. You will need a heart rate monitor. I suggest a heart rate monitor that has a strap that goes across your heart, not just the one on your wrist, even though those work good too. They don't work as good as over your heart. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay. Fat burning is where we all need to be if we're trying to lose weight. Okay. When you burn fat, let me repeat that. When you burn fat, you will become healthier. Okay. All right. Next. The next cardio zone is basically called the cardio zone, where you are going to be above 130. Let's just say 130 to 135. And before I even go any further with this, everyone's numbers are going to be different. Everyone's numbers are going to be different when it comes to your heart rate while you're working out, your training heart rate range. My numbers, I run high. My heart rate gets up pretty high when I train. Some people's heart rate never gets over 150. And if it gets over 150, like they feel some kind of way. That's not me. So I do not want you to take these numbers as law, because they're not. It's going to be what your numbers are. Okay. So now when you're going to be doing higher intensity cardio, you will be burning fat. Okay. But you will be using carbs more for energy as opposed to fat. Okay. And they burn faster. So your intensity is higher and then the burn is faster. Now, the thing about when you're above the fat burning zone is that you will be burning fat, but you also may sacrifice some muscle mass. Here's the thing. Unless you are a bodybuilder and muscle is absolutely positively king in your life and in basically just in your life, it's okay to be above the fat burning zone. It is okay to be above the fat burning zone. You've probably heard of something called HIIT, high intensity interval training. I love that. Okay. I love high intensity interval training. I try to offset my HIIT workouts with heavy weight workouts also. But if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I like to do all kinds of workouts. I don't just do HIIT. I don't just do fat burning. I don't just do weights. I do everything. Everything. I just went hiking with my boy Big Joe on Friday, and we were in a fat burning zone for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Great day, great time, great talk, all that good stuff. But it was fat burning. Came back and banged the weights out too, though. So I was muscle building. So you have to figure out what your goal is. Okay. All right. So like I said, those are the two zones I want to talk to you about because it's typically the most popular zones that we're going to be in. If you're a high caliber athlete, the next level up, that's for you. If you're a high caliber athlete, I'm not talking to you today. If you have questions, let me know and I'm happy to address you specifically. Okay. All right. So fat burning zone and the cardio zone. Okay. So that is it for cardio. Now here's the thing. You want to find the cardio that you like to do. I love to hike. I love to box, train boxing. I love to do high intensity workouts. Those are the things that I like to do. I used to love to shoot hoop. My knee doesn't let me do that anymore. That's how I love to get my cardio. Okay. You find what's good for you. You might like to jump rope. You might like to, I don't know, take long walks on the beach. I don't know what you want to do, but do it. Okay. So that is cardio. Last, let's talk about lifting weights. And everybody needs to lift weights. I do not care who you are. I do not care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. No, I do care how young you are, because if you're too young, you could still lift weights, but they'd be very, very light weights and they'd be much more functional as opposed to what we would do as adults. Anyway, you need to push resistance. Resistance is going to create micro tears in your muscles. Okay. That's lifting weights. As you create micro tears in your muscles while you're working out, blood rushes to the muscles. If you've ever had a really good session, you'll feel the pump where the blood is rushing into the muscles because you're tearing them down. Your muscles actually grow when you're resting. Okay. But we need resistance. So if you can easily do, dumbbell curls and you're doing 10 pounds and you could do 100 of them. Okay. That means that that's way too light. I will never say that anything that you do is bad. What I will say is it's not good enough. So if you can lift 30 pounds, you need to be lifting at least 30 pounds. Then you need to be pushing yourself to 35 and 40. Your reps may go down, but you'll be tearing those muscles down the way you're supposed to. And then the cool thing is let's say you're trying to do 10 reps at 30 pounds and you say, hey, I'm going to go for it today. I'm going to start off with 35s and you can only do 3 reps with that. Okay. So you do 3 good reps with 35. Then you drop down back to 30s. Boom. Then you knock out the next 7. That's a good set, baby. Okay. That's a good set. You got to have resistance to build muscle. You're going to be sore. It will typically take 2 days for you to get really sore. And then it'll take 2 more days for you to start to feel better. When you start a full body program, you have like a rolling almost 2 weeks of soreness. See, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you you're not going to be sore because I think that would be wrong. I'd be setting you up for the fall. You'd be thinking something's wrong. You'd be like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. No, that's the way that it goes, man. Lactic acid builds up on your muscles. You get sore. It goes away. You keep on trucking. Okay, next. Muscle is, when you create muscle, when you build muscle, it's so good for your body overall. And remember, when I say build muscle, I do not mean this. I mean building muscle for you. Okay? UFC fighters, if you watch MMA, if you watch combat sports like I do, I love them. Number one, these guys and girls' bodies are beautiful. I mean, like they're works of art. Okay, because their profession requires excellence with the body. Now, if you see a UFC fighter in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, you might think, oh, he's an okay looking guy, okay looking girl. I wouldn't say average because they're not average looking. They look like they can kill you and they can, but like you wouldn't be blown away by like how big and how just like muscular because that's not that type of muscle. They have functional muscle. They have long, lean, quick twitch muscle. So when I say build muscle, I mean that as well as big bodybuilder muscle, okay? And I keep qualifying that, and I'm going to stop doing it because I've told you guys enough times that you need to build muscle for you. Okay, but muscle will increase your metabolism. It will make you stronger, obviously. That's the obvious one. It will increase your bone density. It can help lower your blood pressure. There's so many benefits. I mean, there's literally a list this long that goes along with lifting weights. And as you get older, us guys, we lose testosterone. Lifting weights helps. I don't know how much you can increase your testosterone, and I don't mean like by a couple of points. I mean like significantly. You can increase your testosterone, but as we get older, we lose testosterone. It's a good idea to try to maintain what you have and gain as much as you can. Okay, another conversation for another video, whatever. What lifting weights also does is it prevents injury. Okay, if you're doing it right, you not only will not get hurt while you're lifting weights, you will prevent injuries. Okay. When my knee was really bad, my knee was really unstable, I could be walking down the street, and if the pavement was if it was uneven, like I could easily trip. I did it. I fallen to the ground because my knee was just so unstable. And when I was finally able to get my knee back in shape, right? Not only was I not falling, I was fighting against that fall to where like now like my body was reacting the way that it used to where like that wasn't even the thing for me. I never even used to think about stuff like that. But when you're really injured and when you're really hurt and things are affecting you, it happens like that. So you can prevent injuries by lifting weights. You condition your body to take things. The more conditioned you are, the better you'll be. All right. I think that you should hit each muscle group twice a week. Okay? Twice a week. You could do 3 times a week. That's a lot. That means you're working out 6 times a week. I'd say twice a week is solid. And the way that I like to do it is I like to bang a certain muscle group real hard the first time throughout the week. The second time is more of a, like reps and sets and not so much heavy weight. Okay. If you do too much heavy weight all the time, your joints will suffer. Your ligaments and your tendons will suffer. So bang the weights real hard. You go as heavy as you can. And I don't mean like doing your max every time. I just mean like lifting heavy, 1 time a week. And then the second time you do more reps and sets and look for the burn. Okay. So guys, that is the review of fitness. This is literally this mini pod is if you follow these guidelines, apply the stuff that I'm talking about to you. I mean, like, I can't say that you can't fail, but what I can say is, man, like your chances to succeed grow exponentially. It's not hard, guys. When you get it right here, you'll get it right here. When you figure out a plan, when you know what you're doing, when you know where you're going, you'll get there. All right, guys, if you have any questions about any of the stuff I covered today, please hit me with a comment, hit me directly. I'm happy to address anything that I can for you. I do not have all the answers. I never want to act like I'm a know-it-all, but I will tell you what I know. I will give you what I got. I do not sandbag. If you ask me a question, I will give you the answer that I know that I have. All right. All right, guys. I love doing these podcasts. I love the mini pods. The regular podcasts the regular podcasts are on their way again. So you'll be getting more than just me because you might be getting tired of me. I get tired of me sometimes too, but whatever. But yeah. All right, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up. I will see you in the next video.